Here we go. Here we go, brownies. The kids cardiac, catch me in the Muni where the party at. Dog pound, turn up with the elf up on my starter cap. Brought him back, boy we from the land and we proud of that. Louder man, front to the back, here we go, I got him shouting that. Here we go, brownies. Here we go. Here we go, brownies. Here we go, brownies. Here we go, brownies. Game on the line, Joe Thomas, I promise. Jim Brown running through opponents, how I got this. I return like Josh Cripps. Paying for the mini, got the dog pound jumping. Here we go, brownies. Here we go. Here we go, brownies. Here we go, brownies. Here we go, brownies. Let's go.
Cleveland! This is for you!
Mr. Hero's turning 60. We're proud to have served your favorite cravings for 60 years in celebrating what we do best. Thanks, Ohio.
I crave a hero.
Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of the Here We Go Brownies podcast. I'm Allie Ellery coming at you live from Pensacola, Florida. You just heard it, Mr. Hero. They're turning 60 this year. Please be sure to download their mobile app where you can get buy one, get one offers just for signing up. They do a lot of great rewards, some great points. You can order food from the app. It just makes it easy. Please be sure to check out our friends over at Mr. Hero. Join with me, as always. We've got Dustin out in beautiful Cleveland, Ohio. Dustin, how are we doing?
Going good. Allie had a really great time last night at the Great Northern Mall. Got to hang out with Q, the running back for the Cleveland Browns, Quinshon Judkins, and also our good friend of the program, Kevin Mack, was there, the one that infamously you knocked a golf ball off the top of his golf. So he was fun to hang out with, to see kind of the legend, and also Judkins out there. By the way, this Saturday, just to mention, they will have Eric Metcalf out there, good friend of the program as well, and JOK will be out there this Saturday doing some time. So that'll be really cool. So
that'll be really cool. Yeah, be sure to check all of that out. We got some things to get into. Of course, we're going to tell you all about the roster moves, some retirements that happened around the league,
Yep.
Some coaches on the hot seat. I'm sure there's probably a lot of conversation there. We're going to take a look back at the past couple of weeks in terms of offensive and defensive performance and special teams. That's something to talk about also. We're going to bring David on to talk about injuries, a lot there, unfortunately, and then we will look ahead to the Dolphins, which has quickly become kind of a must-win situation. I mean, not in terms of playoff contention, but really just because you look at how kind of bad they are and the situation that they're in. I think this Browns roster, top to bottom, is better than what they have in Miami. So it kind of comes down to, if we're talking about coaches on the hot seat, you've got two right there playing each other. So we'll talk about all of it.
Yeah, they're calling it the hot seat bowl.
It's weird. So we're gonna just get into all of that before we really kick things off. I'd like to tell you about our friends over at Primetime Sports. Dustin, you just mentioned Quinshon Judkins. Tell us about Primetime.
Yeah, so guys, if you haven't been there, lots of cool stuff. We're dropping some stuff, some of the helmets, the mini helmets. Also, by the way, Allie, they make a mid-size helmet now. So they have the minis, the big ones, and like a mid-size. And I actually like those cool mid-size ones because they kind of go on a bookshelf. They're a little bit, like that mid-size. So we have those. We have some jerseys. By the way, some custom jerseys like these guys. You can get those at their shop, signed like that. How cool is that? You can get some custom jerseys signed by Judkins last night in person and certified there. But then, but by the way, they got all kinds of stuff. Ohio State Buckeye stuff. They've got all the different stores. Obviously, they're in the Belden Village, Great Northern Mall, Streetsboro. So they got stores in Hartville. So they got all these 4 different locations you can go to in Northeast Ohio.
So if you're an Ohio State fan, let me tell you, they have a really cool thing. David and I got one. Highly recommend. They have a national championship Ohio State box. And within that, you get a signed jersey, 3 photos, and I believe, what else do we get? 3 photos. Did we get and a helmet. We got a mini helmet. Awesome. We got a Will Howard jersey, which was incredible. I mean, just what we had hoped for. We got Jack Sawyer, Tigger Shabola, Arvell Reese, Carnell Tate. I mean, just awesome. So be sure to check them out, whether you're a Browns fan. I mean, of course, you're watching this podcast. Ohio State, Cats, they do it all. So check them out. Really cool.
So how about this? Allie just shared that with me. Never shared to me that she made a purchase at primetime.
I didn't know. Nope. Here's the thing. I did not know, but David got one. And because we had talked about it. And, you know, his birthday's coming up in 2 days. So happy early birthday, David.
Okay.
He was like, I'm going to get one, but I'm not going to tell Allie about it in case Allie got me one for my birthday, which I think so that's why we didn't talk about it, because I would have probably ran that by you and them to see, you know, what he got available. Yeah. But yes.
That's cool. No, and they do a really good job. Like, and of course, I mean, they do a really good, and they do custom framing. That was one of the things. By the way, you know, I got to tell you something that kind of blew me away. I'm at this signing last night, and shout out to this kid. So he shows up at the signing alley. He has Quinshon Judkins' game-worn jersey from his first NFL touchdown that he bought for $6,000 on Fanatics. Okay. Guess what Judkin goes, I need that. How did you get that? That's my first NFL touchdown. So I think they're trying to work out some kind of fun thing. But I was like, to see that jersey there, and the kid's like, yeah. And the kid's shaking. You can tell he's nervous because he's wanting to get it signed by Judkins. But he went off on Fanatics and went and bought this jersey. And here's the thing, we were thinking, like, how did that not just get to Judkins, right? Like, it should be going to Judkins. It's his first NFL touchdown, right? But for him, he probably thought it's just a game. You know what I mean? Like, players don't always think that way until after the fact. It's kind of like, it's not. And then they're like, wait, that's my first NFL touchdown.
That's cool. That's cool.
So.
All right, let's get into it. So we're going to start with some roster moves. A couple of things here, nothing huge, but kind of an early week move around, if you will. Cornerback Trey Avery signed to the active roster. Depth piece there. Obviously, we know, with Greg Newsome gone, they bring in Tyson Campbell. You need some other bodies in that room. So some depth there. They brought in linebacker Eugene Asante and defensive tackle Simeon Barrow, both onto the practice squad. Developmental, really just to have some guys that kind of fit the mold of that athletic, player that Jim Schwartz likes to have. Offensive tackle Joshua Miles was released from the practice squad. So, I think that's kind of interesting, especially when we take a look at the tackle situation. But those are some of the moves here and there. I continue to just be nervous and anxious with the offensive line situation as we go through just the remainder of this season, what that looks like. We're going to bring David on in just a little bit. He's going to talk about Jack Conklin. That's a big thing. And, Mike, I mean, we got a lot to talk about on the injury standpoint. And I'm just really anxious and worried about the offensive line as a whole, because whether it's, Dylan Gabriel out there, Shedeur Sanders, or whoever, it makes me very nervous for the development of these players, right? To see what we have, to feel comfortable and not setting anybody up to just have their NFL career finished right then and there due to injury or just because, offensive line can't block. And for the development of Sean Judkins, it just, if the offensive line isn't serviceable, this offensive product is going to be kind of what it's been this season, which is a lot of not fun.
Well, I mean, we talk about it. It doesn't matter what quarterback, Flacco, Dylan Gabriel, Shedeur Sanders, Bailey Zappi, guy on East 9th Street in Cleveland. Doesn't matter who you put out at quarterback. It ain't going to matter if they don't have any time to throw or even have a play develop. I mean, we saw that this last Sunday. Like, poor Dylan Gabriel just was running for his life. I mean, he couldn't get anything. I mean, like, they were all over him. And here's the truth. We saw that with Joe Flacco in Baltimore. They did the same thing, and he's a veteran of 20 years practically. You know what I mean? And he still was getting crumbled behind the offensive line. So if they don't get some kind of consistency to keep the quarterback upright, it's going to be a very long season, no matter who's behind center.
Well, whether or not even just for the health and well-being of the quarterback, but just from an offensive product, it's not going to be fun. And we're going to talk about that what's going on offensively here in just a few. Next up on the docket here, talking about David Bell. David Bell announced his retirement. We are going to talk about this a lot more in depth with David from an injury standpoint, but he announces his retirement from football, from that off-field injury from a surgery, I believe. And then doctors had advised, hey, this could really be bad, life-threatening if you continue to play. So he did announce his retirement. He's a young player. Like he's a young man.
Drafted in 2022, yeah.
22. He's played 32 games. 41 catches, 408 yards. Look, I think when David Bell was drafted, do you remember that draft, Dustin? Kevin Stefanski was pounding the table to draft David Bell. I think a lot of fans, and at the time, that was right after the departure of Jarvis Landry. We thought he was going to kind of step into that Jarvis Landry slot receiver role. And I think that, the possibility was there that he could have taken off, but just from a production standpoint, he was ultra productive in college, Purdue, and then comes into the league, and it just didn't work. And sometimes that happens. Like sometimes you're going to have players that for whatever reason just don't translate. But it's sad to see. We wish him the best. I think that David Bell has hopefully a future with football, whether that's coaching, broadcasting. I think he's a great mind. If you've listened to any of his press availability going back several years at this point, he's been kind of away from the team, but you go back and, he's impressive. And I think could certainly be a role model for maybe this next generation. So it'd be interesting to see, if he takes a step in that direction.
Yeah. It's unfortunate to see where the Browns are wide receiver wise and some of the other things that are happening. This is the second retirement this year. If you remember, we had a retirement before the season started. I'm trying to think of the player that. So if you think about it, this team, they've dealt with a lot from player perspective. But yeah, the health and well-being of any player should be. By the way, speaking of that, I don't know if you noticed this in the Steelers game. Did you see one of the guys had one of the what do they call those? The Guardian caps on during the game. That was the first time I've seen an actual game this year where, speaking of the health, that I saw one of the, I think it was number 40. I can't remember for the Steelers, but he had a Guardians cap on.
Yeah, it's very common. Several players wear them.
Yeah, I just haven't seen it in a game. I haven't seen it in a game yet this year, but
there's several players with the Packers that have it. I think who is it? Romeo Dobbs wears it. It's quite common.
Okay, yeah. It was just the first time that kind of like it stood out to me because I was like, oh, there's a guy wearing a Guardian cap, to the point like, are we going to see more and more of that? I thought that was interesting.
JOK wore it prior to his injury.
JOK did wear that. I do remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. So they are quite common to see. And then just in another retirement, not directly for the Cleveland Browns, but Zadarius Smith announced his retirement midseason. Pass rusher for the
I saw that.
So that was interesting to see, but I guess it does go to show. You give a little bit of credit here to Andrew Berry, kind of knowing maybe with some of these older players when to move off of them based on anticipation of retirement or next steps. So he announced his retirement.
Let me ask you about that because we were talking about that yesterday, retirement versus just kind of going through the motions through the season till the end. So if a guy retires, and if it's not because of clearly a health issue, that could, affect his well-being and livelihood, how does that affect the team from a salary standpoint and cap? I was thinking about that. Why wouldn't a player just play to the end of the year to get his full salary instead of just retiring, mid-year? It's just kind of weird, right? Unless it is a health reason to where this is, could be detrimental to you. I just thought that was interesting always.
So real quick, got a good laugh out of this. We're talking about Guardian caps. So those are the caps that are worn on the helmet to protect players from concussions and other things. But
not to be confused with the Cleveland Guardians.
Yes, not to be confused with the Cleveland Guardians. But so I guess it depends. Some contracts probably stipulate, restrictions or what that may look like from a contractual financial standpoint. I don't know what, for example, what Darius Smith's looked like. I'm not sure.
I guess everybody's contract could be written differently, right?
Sure. But when you do retire from the National Football League, you are placed on the retirement list. So there's kind of like a commissioner's exempt list, the IR. There's a separate category for the players that are retired. So if you remember Darren Waller, who's been retired for several years from the Giants, the Dolphins wanted him, so they had to make a trade with the Giants to acquire Darren Waller, even though he was retired. And essentially, you would think in your head he's a free agent. No, you have to actually trade for that player. They own the rights to that player. So
because he retired a Philadelphia Eagle, right?
Correct.
Okay.
So for several years, and I don't know what that time period looks like. He's still the Philadelphia Eagles will kind of have his rights until that contract probably ends. I don't know, but yeah, that's why you see teams like the Dolphins trade for Darren Waller because the Giants own his rights. So there's that. Anything else that I missed there in terms of retirements around the league?
No, I don't know. Ravens are 1-5. That kind of stands out at me a little bit. I just don't. It's kind of crazy just to see. I mean, this is kind of a crazy year, just league wide, where teams are at. I knew the Dolphins were going to be good, but I don't think they were going to be 1-5. I didn't have the Colts being what the Colts are right now, like that. I mean, I don't think any of us. I mean, we thought the Colts would be okay, but we don't think Danny Dimes would go out and do that. I don't think anybody ever saw that. And the most surprising thing is the conversation around Cleveland, Allie, is you have a football team called the Cleveland Browns that has, rookie quarterbacks, but then you have these other teams that have quarterbacks that are backups in places like San Francisco. And all these teams are scoring, even with not really great quarterbacks, 20-some points. And it's like, there is a real problem here with the offense, and it stinks really bad. And it's true. Like, how are these other teams scoring that many points with not I wouldn't even say franchise quarterback or starting quarterback in the National Football League? It's kind of mind-blowing when you look back. Is it 12 games now that the Browns haven't scored more than 17 points? And it's kind of crazy to me.
And that they've only won 4 of their last 20 games, going into last season. Yeah, it's very frustrating.
Or the way we're currently paying 8 quarterbacks.
That bothers me too. So when you take this is what I wanted to get to. If you take a look around, not even the league, let's just say around the AFC, it should really piss you off. What they are right now, because you have the number 1 defense in the league. I'm going to talk about their defense here in just a moment. So bring me back to that if I don't get to it. But you've got the number 1 defense in the league, and you have, for lack of better words, just a piss poor offense, just an absolute abysmal offense in every stretch of the imagination from your skill position players. I mean, you've got a bright spot in Quinshon Judkins right now, but your receivers aren't catching the ball. Your offensive line is battling through just continued injury. They're not blocking well, and then which results in poor quarterback play, which is all a reflection of what is going on offensively from the entire offensive philosophy. And it should really piss you off, because you look at especially at week 1, where you could have beat Cincinnati, and now look at them. Now look at Cincinnati. You were in the game against the Ravens. You look at some of these divisional games, let alone just in the AFC.
Or the Minnesota game you let get away. The Minnesota game you let get away.
Looking at the AFC, I mean, there is no clear, defined number 1 team in the league right now. I mean, of course, the Chiefs, they had a great performance the other night. There are some good teams, but there isn't like, oh my God.
There
really isn't. Now, I know it's still early in the season, and these teams that are playing in September, October really matters. December, January. Those are the games that really, really matter and define who you are as a football team. But it should really piss you off to know at this point in the rebuild, if you will, that this is where we're at. It seems like the past 3, 4, 5, 6 years have all been for nothing, because at this point, it should only take you a year to 2 to have a serviceable offense. And here we are. So
yeah, I mean, to your point, to the 0-16 and the 0-16 and the 1-15 teams, we were scoring 20 points. Like even those teams, we were scoring 27. I mean, we had we actually had a lot of people playing on those, that actually can make plays and stuff like that. Funny story. My phone is ringing, and you won't believe who it is, but it's Bob Golick. But continue.
I thought you were gonna say it was like Deshaun Kaiser or Cody Kessler, because we're talking about 1-15-0 and 16. I'm like, well, that would just really be the cherry on top. Look,
Spurgeon win, baby. Spurgeon win. Take me back to the Spurgeon Charlie Fridays.
Oh, geez. It's fair to come into this podcast as a frustrated fan and question the direction of this team, the identity of this team, the heart and soul of what we want to be. Now, I want to talk about the defense. Look, I know even on the last post-game show, I got on and said, like, I don't know what's going on with the defense. Like, they've taken a step back. So I said on that show, I need to go back and watch some things, kind of reignite this, take a look at this from a different lens, different perspective, once I check my ego and check my emotions at the door. And I think that wasn't a fair thing to say, because I don't think that the defense has taken a step back. In fact, I think when we're looking at the defense as a whole and having those questions of why can't they get off the field, it seems like teams are able to run it down our throat. Teams are able to make these big plays. While that is true, you take a look at this defense, and they've actually been fairly strong. In fact, they rank first in rush DVOA, PFF run defense, and EPA allowed. So what's happening is teams are just staying on script and using essentially what the Browns want to do offensively, the offensive identity that we talked about in the preseason of managing the clock, dominating at the line of scrimmage, and running the football and being able to win, even by a point. That's what teams are doing against this Browns defense. So they're doing these quick underneath passes. They're staying on schedule. They're dominating the clock, and they're essentially just taking what's there. They know what the Browns offense They know that the Browns offense isn't going to do anything if they get on the field, so they're willing and able to punt it away. Now, when the time's right, they'll take a shot. They'll have an explosive shot to Amon-Ra St. Brown, DK Metcalf, Justin Jefferson, and we've seen it. Those explosive plays are there, but overall, the Browns are containing. They really are. They're doing a good job being able to diagnose a play really before it happens. And you can thank Carson Swessinger. I think he's been very good with that. Because of this, it's starting to feel like the Browns defense is kind of taking a step back, but I'm not entirely sure that that is the case. It's just that these are really good offenses, and they know how to game plan against the best defense in the league. And that's why the pass rush, hasn't been entirely explosive, because they're getting the ball out immediately. And then when the Browns offense does take the field, they're right back off the field because they're going 3 and out. The defense is gassed. So it's not really a scheme issue or a personnel issue on the defense. I think this ultimately is just an extension of the Browns' offensive issues, if you will.
Yeah, and our offense doesn't scare anybody. So we're very predictable on the other side of the ball. Offensively, teams kind of know what to come at us with defensively, because they know the playbook on us, and we're not even being. I feel like every time I watch the Cleveland Browns, they go down the field, they're able to possibly score on the first drive, and it's because we know it's scripted, and then we just don't improvise, or we don't get. To me, the worst part was
there's none of it. There is no creativity with this offense.
Well, there's no creativity, and when you have a guy like Quinshon Judkins, and it's first and goal in the 3. And then you just throw passes and passes. Like, what are we doing here? They know we like to run the ball, but it's first and goal at the 3. You gotta, and we see he gets sacked, and because of that, because your offensive line doesn't have the time to protect your quarterback, that first and goal in the 3 turns to the 12-yard line. All of a sudden now you're in a real bad situation at second and whatever.
Yeah, like I said, this is an extension of the Browns offense. You take a look at this defense and you see, maybe they are struggling. No, it's just an extension of a bad Browns offense, because opposing teams, they know that they can take these risks offensively. They know that they can take a couple of shots here and there. And sure, maybe it'll get picked off, or maybe it will be incomplete, or it will result in a punt. But that's okay, because they know that they're going to get the ball back in 5 minutes anyways, because the Browns offense can't do anything. So they're able to take these risks.
We talked about this. The couple things, and I do want your opinion on this, because I think this came out this week. But the one thing was the Steelers' defense they took out their starters like with 7 minutes left. Like they weren't afraid of the Cleveland Browns offense at all. I mean, they took out their starting defensive unit. And then my second question to you, Allie, I want to talk a little bit about the comments that Mike Tomlin made this week about the trade of Joe Flacco. Because I'm telling you, that is not something Mike Tomlin does, and that's very much off script of Mike Tomlin. And I was like, whoa, like I'd like your opinion on that, because that was a little spicy. Actually, that was a lot spicy, because he didn't really,
Yeah, that was.
What's your thoughts on that?
Yes. So real quick, before I answer your question, I just want to give a shout out to our friends over at City Barbecue. Guys, if you are looking for something to have for lunch or dinner, head on over to City Barbecue. They have award-winning sauces, meat, sides. They have it all. They can cater your events. Just great people to work with. So please be sure to check them out, as well as our friends over at Stadium Mustard. Guys, if you don't have Stadium Mustard in your kitchen this season, you are doing it wrong. The iconic brand, the iconic taste, beloved from ballparks to backyards and everywhere in between. Stadium Mustard is a smooth brown mustard rich in both taste and tradition. By the way, loved by millions. Be sure to head on over to stadiummustard.com to shop now. So yes, that quote was humbling, right? Because here's the thing. It's not wrong. It's not wrong.
It's not wrong, right? Like he was so matter of fact about it, and it was like a shot at Andrew Berry. I was like, whoa. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think I saw a tweet that made me laugh. It said the Browns offense is, or the front office, whatever you want to call it, is so bad that it's actually pissing off our rivals, and that's saying something. Because you're right, for Mike Tomlin to say that, one, look, we don't like the Steelers, but I respect Mike Tomlin. I think he's a very good coach. He's diplomatic. He's professional. I've always respected him. And for him to say that, I actually respect it, because I think the league should be fed up with how bad this Browns team has been. I think, and I'm not saying this as a Browns fan, but the NFL is better when certain teams are good. The Browns are one of them. The NFL is a better product when the Browns are good, the Packers are good, the Steelers are good, the Lions are good, the Bills are good. These iconic, traditional, historic franchises are good. And it's just like, it's humbling. I don't.
And for me, and I took it for what it was worth, like when we made the trade. But what was interesting is when he put it in context, like from a head coach, it kind of stopped me in my tracks. He said, I guess Andrew Berry and the guys over there are smarter than us because they traded Joe Flacco to a team that is weak within our own division. Like you don't help the weak, basically. This is a division foe even saying this. You don't help the weak when they're down. And by the way, you thought enough of this guy to make him your starter, and then you trade him. Like I was like, and it almost felt like he was protecting Stefanski a little bit in that sentence, and also saying, "What are you doing? Going like we don't care if you give him to the Eagles, we don't care if you give him to the Cardinals, but you this team is like they're down, right? Like, and the Steelers are knowing like the Ravens are down and the Bengals are down. So you go and just give them a prop to help them up.
That's crazy.
I mean, that's what he's basically saying. Like, hey, basically you're saving their ass till they get Burrow back.
I think there's another element to this, because so many people have said, the Browns and Andrew Berry, they have constantly tried to outsmart the league and pride themselves on being smart, tough, accountable people, players, and all within the organization, all to their own fault. They are so analytically driven and smart, or so they say, that it comes at their own detriment. So you take a look. I'm getting a call from my alma mater, Capital University, asking for donations. So that just distracted me. Sorry about that, everybody. Look down at my phone and see that. We're all getting our calls today. So, but also the Browns front office. So many people have said, "Oh, they're always just constantly trying to outsmart us." We get it. They're Ivy League guys. So for Tomlin to say, "Oh, he must be smarter than me," I think that's a little bit of a shot too. I think it is. So I don't know.
Yeah, and here's what's interesting. And the press conference, Stefanski, he even said we were surprised at the things call. I mean, that press conference, then we made the trade. So
Yeah.
If I'm the Cleveland Browns, and I'm not that smart, but I'd be like, well, sure, you can have Joe Flacco for a third rounder. Like I play a little hard to get maybe instead of, what do we give? And a fifth rounder, by the way, is still a good trade, but I'm like,
but still,
if they're calling, they're pretty desperate.
Yeah.
But but they're desperate, right? If they're calling the Cleveland Browns, they're probably saying, well, Joe Flacco is sitting on the bench and he can probably get us through for 6 or 8 weeks, right? Like and by the way, he played comparable against the Packers. Like it wasn't like he had a good throw to Chase, and so it's like he's not going to fling it up. So yeah, Mike Tomlin. I've met him personally, and what's interesting about him, Allie? He's got foresight. So when I went to the Joe Thomas induction Hall of Fame ceremony, Mike Tomlin just was walking out, and I was like, I'm going to take my moment and just say something to him. I said, hey, Mike Tomlin, I just wanted to say hello. I'm a Browns fan, but I respect you as a coach. Very similar to something like Allie would say, probably walking out. And he goes, hey, I really appreciate that. He goes, hey, by the way, I got to run looking for my driver. I got to get back to practice. He goes, you guys are going to have a hell of a defense this year. And that's the year that we have the number 1 defense. So there's a coach already knowing what he's going to have to contend with against the Cleveland Browns in the AFC North. Like he's just that guy that he's no nonsense, right? He just gets it. And when people I would say speak softly but carry a big, a stick. That's kind of Mike Tomlin. Like when he speaks, kind of people listen like, whoa, he went out of his lane to say, all right, you want me to say something? I'm going to say it. So it's like,
yeah. All right. Yes, we are going to bring David on here in just a moment. First, I want to tell you about our friend, Crystal John Tony with EXP Realty. So whether you're looking to maybe buy or sell a home, or maybe just have some questions, looking to get into investing, give her a call. She can help you, 216-215-6666. You can shoot her an email right here on the screen, johntonysales@gmail.com. So let's bring David on here. A lot to talk to with him. But first, a quick message from our friends over at Lorella Vineyards.
Here we go, Brownies Nations. We are here with Larry Lorello at Huntington Field to talk about Here We Go Brownies wine and all the other amazing wines at Lorella Vineyards.
Yeah, I just want to tell all of you guys, it's harvest season right now. We just started with some of the whites, and reds will be coming in next. Stop out at the winery, all the wineries out in Northeast Ohio to check out all the harvest and what we're doing out there. Really good time right now.
Here we go, Brownies. Here we go.
Here we go.
Woof, woof.
Woof, woof.
All right, let's bring him on. Dr. David Ullery to the program. Hi, David.
Hi, Allie. Hello, Dustin.
What's happening? How we living? How we feeling?
David, good to see you.
Good to see you too. We're living great. We're enjoying fall in Florida. Temperatures have dropped a little bit, but it's beautiful still. And just, trudging along through the season.
Truly
David,
trudging.
it's a great week. Yeah, David, it's a great week. You get your wife back after being gone for 10 days, and you got a birthday coming up in a few days. It's a good week for you.
I couldn't ask for more, honestly.
Well, you could.
So, David, a lot to kind of unpack here. We want to talk about the David Bell retirement, of course. I'll turn it over to you for that. But, of course, we still have a lot to talk about when it comes to, I mentioned, the offensive line. There are some concerns, some injuries. I will turn it over to you. Let's get the show on the road.
Yeah, there's a lot to kind of sift through here, unfortunately, as things start to pile up here, just, a third of the way through the season. So I'm going to look at just kind of the injury report from the timeline standpoint. We know during the game, we had a couple of injuries pop up. Joe Tryon Chwayinka had a hip injury, and he left the game. Currently in practice today, he was limited, so he is practicing. So that's a good sign just to have some depth on the defensive line that he's going to return. Conklin had a concussion, and he had to leave the game and did not practice today. He's in the protocol. I wouldn't expect him to play on Sunday. Gage Larvadain also had a concussion and had to leave the game and did not practice, similarly in the protocol. We see them. It's very rare for someone with a concussion to come back just a week later and play. You do see it, but I think they're just going to be cautious with all these and probably not expect to see either of those guys play. Cam Robinson had a knee injury in the game, and he did practice today in a limited role. So hopefully he can go, just because we know what the offensive line is looking like already, especially with Jack not being able to play. So are most likely not playing. And then injury reports kind of coming this week. Yesterday, they listed Mike Hall as questionable. We all know the Mike Hall story. We're all getting sick of it. I know Kevin today said, like, Mike Hall's doing great. He's truly day-to-day. We're taking it day by day. But, I mean, he's been day-to-day since July. Allie and I were talking about this earlier, kind of off screen, like, what's really going on here? Don't really know. We can't speculate too much. We don't want to point fingers, but it's kind of weird that it's been like this for so long. Myles Garrett listed as questionable with a elbow injury. He was limited in practice today, but he did practice. Njoku not in practice today due to a knee injury. He is truly day-to-day, so we'll see if he's going to be able to suit up on Sunday or not. Might see a bigger role expand for Fannin, even though he already has a big one Sunday if David can't play or if he's limited. Shelby Harris is questionable. He has a knee injury. He was limited in practice today. Blake Whiteheart is questionable with a shoulder injury, limited in practice today. And Jerry Jeudy with a knee injury was also limited in practice today. So that's the big rundown. Joel Bitonio, Malik Collins did not practice, but it was just for rest. No big concerns there. Cornelius Lucas was a full participant in practice with his back injury, which is good news because, again, the offensive line is struggling. And I think that hits all of the currently active players that we're worried about. Any questions or thoughts on any of those guys as we kind of go through just the ones that we're looking at to suit up on Sunday?
Not necessarily a question for that, but Jason is asking if we're wearing sweatshirts because fall in Florida. It was actually really hot today, and I just put this on because I was in a workout shirt, and that was not here.
Full disclosure, women I don't think are ever truly warm. I mean, I work in an office where women have heaters under their desk in July. So, full disclosure, I think women like to always be warm. Like they and Allie hates the cold. I know that for 1,000%.
You calling me a woman, Dustin?
No. I'm not talking about you. You can wear whatever sweatshirt you want. You probably have shorts on and a sweatshirt. That's a dude thing to do. You probably have shorts.
That's so true. I am wearing shorts right now. Like, we keep the house at like a balmy 72, and it's just comfortable in sweatshirts sometimes. No big deal.
It's a nice Cleveland Browns sweatshirt. Gotta highlight that.
It's a throwback looking one. Yeah.
Yes, it's cool. Shout out to Abercrombie and Fitch. They have the best. David, no further questions really on the injury report. Sorry, I sound like an attorney. No further questions. But let the record reflect that I'm now asking about David Bell and his injury. So that led to his retirement. I think it's really interesting. We talked about that at the start here, that it wasn't necessarily a football injury that led to his retirement. So I want to turn it over to you. I know that there's still some question marks surrounding this, but maybe you can provide some clarity.
Yeah, there's some weird confusion, some mystique behind this. So just kind of to take it back a little bit, David Bell initially last year had a hip injury in week 2 of the season. That pretty much ended his season then and there. It was a hip injury. I don't recall if he had surgery for that injury specifically, but then this offseason, the report from Mary Kay was that he had surgery not related to a football injury, so a non-injury or a non-football injury, required surgery for that from an independent or outside surgeon. So he didn't have surgery with the team doctor, but someone wherever his home is or something like that, and then ultimately had some sort of complication as a result of that, leading to his retirement. And that's really all we're getting. The rest is speculation. I'm not quite sure, because in his statement, he even said, like, I was informed by the multiple doctors that continuing to play football could put life or limb at risk with this injury. And I mean, that's pretty serious talk when we look at like what's going on with the complications surrounding surgery. They say it's unrelated, a non-football injury. So could this be a JOK neck injury? Could similar, not obviously JOK's was from football, but like a similar kind of injury where he, was in a car accident, or if he dove into water and his head hit something? Could it be, I don't know. A lot of that is speculation, and I'm not going to speculate just because it's a pretty serious matter. But regardless, like, it's very strange. You feel for the guy anytime someone has to end their career early, someone who had some promise, and you just hope overall, like, he's still able to like live a meaningful life and have good function otherwise. And again, like, it sounds like he will. He's making the best decision for him and his health and his family. And it's a bummer because he, like Ali said, he's a great football mind for being such a young player. And you hate to see anybody have to, end their career early like this. So it's very strange. And I would just the curiosity of me, my curiosity, would love to know what happened, but I don't know if we ever will.
And keep in mind too, he's 24 years old.
Yeah.
I mean, he is a young man, and you hope that maybe he'll continue. Like I said earlier, maybe there's a coaching path for him, or
Yes,
maybe
that would be, to be like a wide receiver coach or something would be great. Yeah, if we could do something like that.
It's scary. That is scary to hear, and I'm glad to hear that he is putting health first, and that the Browns are really kind of doing right by him as the player. And it is what it is. It's unfortunate, but just wishing him all the best. David, real quick before we pivot to keys to a victory, I mean, anything else from an injury status that maybe we missed?
The only other thing that I guess was notable, because Kevin was asked about it today, is related to QB4 Deshaun Watson. The update was no real update, quote unquote, other than he's doing a great job with his rehab. So we'll leave it at that.
We'll leave it at that.
Hey, and you know what? We just got to do better. I'm just kidding.
I do want to say, so it's not listed on the official depth chart, but on the injury kind of practice report, Tua had been listed with a left thumb injury. He was a full participant in practice. He's not listed as questionable or day-to-day on the official depth chart, but just something to kind of keep in mind as we head into the season. That is his dominant hand. He is a lefty. And so I don't know. We'll see how he's throwing the ball. But, I mean, he was a full participant. Just to kind of touch on any other Dolphins injuries, there's really Darren Waller was limited in practice, but they said it was not injury related, just rest. And then Storm Duck has an ankle injury, one of their defensive backs, but he was a full participant. So overall, like, they're definitely healthier than the Browns are right now in terms of their active players. But just kind of curious. Keep an eye out on Tua and how he's doing on Sunday.
Okay.
Well, and it's supposed to rain all day, so that could be interesting with a sloppy game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Real quick, want to tell you about our friends over at We Bleed Ohio. Guys, if you are looking to get some basketball, football, baseball designed apparel, you can check them out, or get your official Here We Go Brownies podcast hats, t-shirts, sweatshirts, what have you. You can get it there over at We Bleed Ohio. And we've got something kind of exciting to share with you. Dustin, take it away.
Yeah, so our friends at Southern Tier Brewing, that's right, Southern Tier Brewing right down here in downtown Cleveland, they are doing the Pumpkin Poker Run. That's going to be this Saturday from 2 to 6 and 6 to 10. That will start at Southern Tier Brewery, and then it'll go to City Tap, AJ Rocco's, Flannery's, Wonder Bar, Corner Alley, Jolene's, Butcher and the Brewer, where they'll do prize giveaways at 10 p.m. But that is at 2 to 6 p.m. and then 6 to 10 p.m. a poker run, but they're calling it the Pumpkin Poker Run, clearly, because it's October. And by the way, when you're down there, get your official Here We Go Brownies Brown Ale exclusive beer. That's right, you can get it there. And by the way, I was told by the end of the month, you'll be able to get your official Here We Go Brownies Brownie Ale t-shirts in the shop. I thought that was pretty cool. They're going to put some t-shirts. So, Allie, I'll make sure that you and David, you're a double XL, is that correct? I believe.
You got it.
All right, so I'll make sure you guys get some shirts and you can rep the brand. So.
Cool. All right. Just a couple of other things here, guys. If you're looking for something to do with the family, head on over to Greater Cleveland Aquarium. It's a really cool building, great exhibits for the entire family. While you're at it and you're down there, you can go on the Lady Caroline cruise ship. As you can see, great views. You can see the stadium. You can see the city skyline. So it's really cool to experience over at Lady Caroline cruise ship and Greater Cleveland Aquarium.
Yeah. And as I say, with Lady Caroline, guys, that is our cruise this weekend. So remember, you can still buy tickets to that. That's going to be from noon to 2. Greg Pruitt, the Browns legend player, will be there. Ben Davis and some other alumni, but it's only like $40-some per person. Lots of prizes. It's going to be a lot of fun. You're going to be able to do some yacht rock, a lot of fun stuff. But tickets are still available to go on that cruise from noon to 2 this Saturday. We're going to have a lot of fun down there. So
All right. So we're gonna have to go rapid fire here. We're kind of up against it, but I want to do some keys to a victory. Look, I understand that it has been tough to get any kind of victory, but as I stated at the start, you've got two teams that are really trying to figure out who they are. I do believe that the Browns are a better team, so I want to go around the room, give some keys to a victory. I normally start with David. I'm actually going to kick it off tonight. So my first thing is, you mentioned it, Dustin, it is going to be rainy on Sunday. It's going to be raining. So what I like with that is Quinshon Judkins, lean on the run, especially early. Look, Miami ranks pretty much kind of close to the bottom, almost dead last in yards per carry allowed and EPA per rush allowed. So the Browns should absolutely be feeding their young back. I like Quinshon with 100 plus rushing and receiving yards. I think that is a huge key to being able to do anything offensively. So that's my first key. My next one here is you've got to make Tua uncomfortable. You have to absolutely disrupt him. One thing that throws him off is disrupting his timing. You can do that. The Browns have a great defense, number 1 in the league, as I've mentioned. Heavy disguised coverage, heavy blitz looks, stunts, all of that to really force those quick decisions. And that's where Tua is not great. So I like being able to, kind of make him uncomfortable mentally and physically. And then last but not least, you've got a home advantage here. It's probably going to be semi-hostile if you don't come out and start doing something. But at the end of the day, you're still in Cleveland. You lean into the energy. Get the stadium going. I think if Cleveland can feel that momentum, you're gonna maybe be in a better situation. So those are my 3 keys to a victory. David, what do you got?
Yeah, so I don't understand this Dolphins team. I mean, listen to the names on this defensive roster. I mean, just running through the ones. You got Chop Robinson, Benito Jones, Bradley Chubb, Jalen Phillips, Ifiatu, you got Minka, you got Storm Duck, all these like excellent names where you think on paper, man, these guys should be top of the league. Like these are all these incredible athletes, these guys who have like been known to be great defensive players. And yet here they are. Ali, in fact, you're right. They're dead last in EPA allowed when it comes to run defense and absolutely dead last overall with their passing defense and power rankings. They have the worst defense in the league despite these names. So what does that tell me? Coaching is a major issue here. And we know that McDaniel is definitely on the hot seat here. And I think one massive key here is if Kevin wants to keep his job or have a hope to like stay with this team for the rest of the season, he needs to out-coach Mike McDaniel here. And I think he can do it. We know that he can. It's clear based on this roster and the defense that they have lost control of this locker room and that this defense is not organized and playing to the best of their ability through 6 or 7 games. So I think coaching is a very important thing here. And if he can just play or call smart plays, you use timeouts wisely and just really could put together a good game plan, they're going to be able to win this game. I mean, they should, no doubt about it. I second your opinion on the rushing attack here with Quinshon. He's going to have a bounce back game, really struggled against the Steelers, but that's not going to be the case on Sunday. He's really going to have a really good performance. And then ultimately, still being able to contain guys like Jalen Waddle and Devin A-Chain. He is a very dangerous player. He can get out open in the loose, but the Browns on the opposite end have the number 1 pass defense in power rankings, run defense in power rankings. And so containing that and making the Dolphins one-dimensional, I think is going to go a long way to being able to pull out a win here.
Yeah. All right, Dustin, what do you got?
My 3, I'm going to go with win the line of scrimmage. And what I mean by that, this offensive unit has to find a way to keep our quarterback upright in this football game and give him time and give this offense time to develop. Because if he's given 2 or 3 seconds, things can happen. Even Dylan Gabriel can do things with his legs and get some of these other guys like Dylan and those other wide running backs out in space and just be more creative on offense. I think that has to be a key. Number 2, run the ball. Run the damn ball. Run the damn ball. It's going to rain. It's supposed to be an inch of rain. Be dominant with the run game and give Quinshon Judkins.
You lose Dustin? David, are you with me?
And get
Yeah,
some
I'm
big
here.
chunks. Yeah, I'm here.
All right, you broke up for quite a while. You left off at Quinshon, so hit us with your 3rd key.
Yeah, so Quinshon, obviously run the ball, offense, and then 3, create turnovers in this game. If you have them on defense, create some turnovers because that's key to a victory here, creating those turnovers because you have the number one defense to do that.
All right. Well, there you have it. Those are your keys to a victory. David, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Go Browns.
Go Browns.
All right. That is Dr.
Go
Daniel.
Browns.
So real quick before we get into our game picks, a couple of minutes here. I want to take a time. Let me pull it up here. Dustin, tell our listeners about Lake Erie Distillery.
Yeah, guys, if you haven't had Lake Erie Distillery, check them out. They have Burning River whiskey. That's right, the cinnamon whiskey. They have Ohio's #1 dill pickle vodka. That's right, and a bunch of other amazing whiskeys and bourbons to try. By the way, if you're coming out on the cruise on this Saturday on the 18th, you'll be able to try some of those amazing samplings of those amazing whiskeys this Saturday on the boat cruise. So check them out. Or if you can't make it, check them in your liquor stores or out in Willoughby, Ohio. You can pick some up at their distillery.
All right, there you have it. All right, let's get into some game picks. Dustin, last week when we made these picks, I got you again. So I am now up 3-0-1, and you were 0-3-1 on the season. So you ready to?
I don't like ties either.
Well, all right, let's get into it. So starting on Thursday Night Football, Steelers at Bengals. Who are you taking?
I'm going to go Bengals actually in this one. I think I'm going to go Bengals for some weird reason. I like the Bengals in this one.
All right. Well, I'm going to go with the Steelers here. I think they're just doing what they do. I'm going to go with the Steelers. Rams at Jags. And this one is in somewhere in Europe. I forget where this one's at.
Rams and Jaguars, you said?
Rams and Jags.
Give me the Rams.
I think so. No, I'm actually going to take the Jags here. Where's this game at? Is it London? I need to look, but they play very well overseas. That's like their second home. So I'm going to go ahead and take the Jacksonville Jaguars. Eagles at Vikings.
Eagles and Vikings. Give me the Eagles. Eagles bounce back in this game.
Yeah, I agree. Patriots at Titans.
Titans going to win. Patriots are on the up. I think Patriots bring the Titans back to life. Give me the Patriots.
I agree. Vrabel going up against his old team.
Oh, yeah, good point. Yeah.
I'm going to Patriots. Panthers at Jets.
Well, the Panthers beat the Cowboys, so there's that.
So, really or not?
Yeah.
Top to bottom, they've got a good roster.
Give me – I think the Jets are hot garbage. Give me the Panthers.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Panthers here. I'm not going to take the Jets until they give me a reason to take them. So next up, we've got the Dolphins at the Browns.
Browns.
I agree. Give me the Browns in this one. I think they get a win here. Saints at Bears.
Actually, Bears played pretty good. Give me the Saints. I need to do some upset wins. Give me the Saints here.
Okay, I'm gonna stick with the Bears.
Yeah, I need a little change it up.
All right. Next up, the Raiders at Chiefs.
I know the Raiders have the Chiefs' numbers sometimes, and that would be the frisky pick to take, but I'm going to stick with the Chiefs at home.
I do think that this could be a game just because the Chiefs just came off of a really big win against the Lions, but this is in Kansas City. I'm going to stick with the Chiefs here, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Raiders either keep this one close or come away with a win. Colts at Chargers. This is an interesting game. This is really interesting, actually.
Chargers are a good team.
I think they're both good teams. I'm just waiting on the Colts. I don't know why I am.
Yeah, give me the Chargers in this one at home, and just because it's home, because I think they're pretty evenly matched teams right now. So give me the Chargers just because of the home field advantage.
Yeah, I'm going to go with you on that one. Giants at Broncos.
Giants have got a little life in them, but the Broncos are definitely a good football team. Give me the Broncos.
I'm going to stick with the Broncos here. Packers at Cardinals.
Give me the Packers. Packers have kind of found their way now after losing to the Browns.
Agreed. Commanders at Cowboys.
Now the Commanders just lost, correct? That's the team they just lost. Am I correct? So I think the Commanders bounce back and they go in and they beat the Dallas Cowboys.
All right, I'm going to take the Cowboys. Commanders. Okay. Falcons at Niners.
So Falcons put a good fight up.
Good.
Niners still out without not Purdy, right? He's not back for a while.
As far as I know, yeah. Seems like it's Mac Jones right
now. Give me, you know what? Give me the Niners. It's at San Francisco, right?
Correct. Yeah. I'm going to go with the Niners here also. Bucks at Lions.
I hate to say this. I think Baker Mayfield is on a mission. Give me every game he is in. He is an MVP. He is doing this with nobody on his team. Give me the, and why I'm doing this, if I didn't see the body of work, just to preface this, what he went in and did at Seattle, which is a damn tough place to win. I don't know why he can't do it in Detroit. This guy is, if you give him a minute left, he's proven. I'm gonna find a way to win this football game. So give me a close one in Detroit.
Okay, I'm going to take the Lions here. The reason for that is they're at home, bounce back again, or after that loss against the Chiefs. That was a bad loss. And also, the Bucks beat them, was it last year or the year prior? Like, they've got a little bit of history here. I'm going to go with the Lions.
This is going to be a great game to watch. This will be a really very entertaining football game.
Yeah. And last but not least, Texans at Seahawks.
I think the Seahawks will bounce back in this game and win at home.
Yeah, I think the Seahawks. I think so. Give me the Seahawks here as well. All right, so we've got Steelers, Bengals. I took the Jags. You took the Rams. I took the Bears. You took the Saints. I took the Cowboys. You take the Commanders. And I took the Lions. You took the Bucks.
That's what I got. Five games I got to keep. And by the way, some of these other, I get about. I'm a little worried about my Saints pick. The other ones I feel okay about. My Saints and my Tampa Bay pick are my kind of outside the box ones. The other ones I feel okay with. So.
Well, we'll see how it goes. Before we wrap up, just a quick word from our friends over at Mr. Hero.
SOS, I could use a hero right about now. My faith love is upside down. H-E-R-O, where do we all go? SOS, I could use a hero right about now. My faith love is upside down. H-E-R-O, I crave a hero.
All right, Dustin, any closing thoughts as we wrap up on a beautiful Wednesday evening?
No, I'm just looking forward to a win that I'm going to attend on Sunday in the rain. I'm going to try to find some cover because cold rain, I honestly think is worse than snow, to be quite transparent. Like cold rain is the worst, but I'm looking for the Browns to score over 20 points. Yes, like 21 points. I'll do somersaults in the stadium. No, I won't. That would not be good. I'd probably hurt something. But, no, I'm looking for a Browns win and trying to get themselves right because they're going to need to because then they're going to New England and then the bye week, right? So then we'll be at the bye week. I love it. I just hope to be competitive. Amen.
Hoping that it looks right, it works, and it just is better than what we've seen. That's the hope. That's the goal. But thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate it. Stay safe, stay healthy. And as always, Browns fans, go Browns.
Go Browns.